My research title for this presentation is Exploring Parental Involvement, a qualitative study on parents' roles in supporting school activities. I am Jerson Limasa Halis, a student under the Faculty of Business and Accountancy or Philosophy in Management. So I'll be starting giving you the parental involvement in the United States of America. Even established systems to ensure parent involvement in education exist, massive gaps remain, especially in minority and poor families. One-third of school parents suffer from under-involvement, which restricts its power. As a penalty, parents are not able to access school communication channels, differences in culture, and assumptions of bias. When parents are not on the same page as educators, there can be a gap in academic achievements. That's for the USA background. Now, how about in Ghana? Many parents value education, but they face serious socio-economic barriers to becoming more engaged. The inability of parents to support the education of their children is influenced by financial hardship, lack of education themselves, and the need to focus on livelihood activities. Many students in rural and low-income communities do not receive much academic guidance from their families. This influences the school performance of those students negatively, according to this writer, Nyarkot, in 2020. Now, in UK, schools usually encourage parents to be involved in school affairs. But research shows working class families tend not to feel confident in being involved. In some cases, the education system's expectations reflect the middle class values, which then marginalizes certain parents who lack the cultural capital, or availability to engage in school level activities. That's according to Crozer-Devers in 2020. When teachers intentionally or strategically don't invite parents to participate in school events, it results in inequity and exclusion of that parents. For the national issue, it is now our focus. It is now my focus, in Visayas region, Cebu and Iloilo, since my setting is in the Philippines. Let's talk about in Quezon City, a major urban center of the Philippines. Many families living in the informal settlement struggle with economic deprivation, crowded living situation, and uncertain unemployment. Parental engagement is impacted by more important needs for survival, living engagement of an academic supervision of parents, and further viewing themselves as inadequate for helping their children learn as they are less educated. Now, in Cebu, this is one of the cities in the Philippines, the same problems are also seen in this city, which is in an urban and provincial center of education and business. Several parents from low-income barangays don't feel capable enough to guide their child's studies, even though most people already know the importance of education. Many of these stakeholders are only present in school meetings or offer logistical support, and they rarely give any assistance with homework, literacy, or academic goal setting, as they are most likely not trained nor oriented adequately. This means the school system expects parents to get more involved than they actually can or feel comfortable doing. In Zamboanga, this is one of the cities as well in the Philippines. It is a multilingual and multicultural area in Mindanao, and parents' involvement is further complicated by socio-cultural factors. The school and the parents are communicated very difficultly due to the presence of multiple ethnic groups and languages. Also, in some traditional settings, people think that it is just a teacher's job to educate, so the parents don't have to. Due to geographical isolation and inadequate school-based training or orientation for the parents, these problems are exacerbated. So this means that valuable school-related parenting can potentially remain unused. Now, this is now the center of my study. The local issue of Davao region. This is the main focus of the place that I'm going to study in the Philippines. Accordingly, the concern of Turil Davao City brings awareness to the need of understanding how parents perceive their roles and identify barriers in helping their children. By saying things as their parents do, schools can create more effective strategies to build home-school partnership through more context-relevant policies. What are my research questions? Number one, what are the lived experiences of parents in Turil Davao City regarding their involvement in children's academic activities? How do parents cope with the challenges that hinder their participation in their children's education? What insights do parents share about the importance and impact of their involvement on their children's academic success? What is the significance of the study? This research will provide a greater understanding of the influence of parents as far as student academic performance is concerned, and that is useful in Turil Davao City. Even though a lot of policies promote parental involvement, it is not clear how parents actually view their involvement, particularly those from low to middle income communities. Strategies and insight of teachers foster valuable knowledge to contribute to an understudied reality of parental involvement in education. And the results will be useful for the following stakeholders. The research will provide useful input for the design programs that strengthen homeschool links for school administrators and teachers. If we understand how parents feel, and we can adjust the way we speak to them the right way, that helps. Parents can share their stories and issues through the study to empower them and motivate them to view themselves as significant partners in education of their children. The opinions of parents can also lead to other parents being more involved and being active in learning at home. The research will provide place-based evidence to the policymakers, including the Department of Education, that will inform the policies geared towards improving parental engagement across in different socioeconomic and cultural contexts. This study may lead future researchers to look into parental involvement not just about the school system, but rather than the angle of the family, culture, and community. The goal of the study, after all, is to close the gap between school and home so that it positively. Parental experiences in academic involvement. Number one, parents in low income, single parent, immigrant, and low class backgrounds often face limitations in aiding their children's education. Research indicates that parents see a duty and a challenge. And this is especially true when they do not have the right academic background or time due to work. And many parents in developing countries usually only attend school meetings and help with homework. They are not usually engaged in academic mentorship or participation in governance. Additionally, the extent to which parents are welcomed and involved is shaped by the school. When the schools promote a culture of inclusion and respects, parents are likely to feel valued and take more active role. Coping mechanisms in overcoming barriers to involvement. Parents often have trouble getting involved for reasons such as lack of time or confidence in academic related matters or less communication with teachers. In order to meet these challenges, many are going for creative ways to cope. Some change their work schedules, build support networks with other parents, or rely on older siblings to help with schoolwork in marginalized communities. Parents may also use mobile technology and social media platforms to stay connected to schools with a face-to-face interaction. And these coping strategies demonstrate the family's resilience in remaining engaged despite in major disruptions and logical barriers. Parental insights of the impact of involvement. It is no surprise that parents know their involvement helps improve their children's academic success. According to research, when parents are engaged, their children tend to study better, they stay motivated, and to be more confident. Additionally, parents often gain a better understanding of how children learn and feel more confident in their role as educator. So many parents say that they need training or workshop so that they can help their children at home better. Okay, in chapter 3, I'll be using the research methodology. We have the research design. This study used qualitative phenomenological research methods. Okay, so here it was chosen that it provides a depth understanding of how an individual experiences a phenomenon. In this instant, parental involvement in education occurs, and this design is suitable for capturing parents' subjectively realities and its focus for the narrative reflection. The study looks parents' perspective into diversity to identify common experiences, as well as the unique challenges and strategies that emerge in a localized community context. The design seeks to help understanding how parental roles are played out, what influence engagement. Now, in this study here, I'll be using the thematic analysis will be done to come up with the rich contextual data, which provide the useful information of the school practices, as well as future policies. Then here, for the local of the study, this research was conducted in Turil, Davao City, a district situated in the southern region of Davao City in Mindanao, Philippines, Turil. And it is a semi-urbanized and rural area with a rising population and communities with different levels, which with its private and public elementary and secondary school, it caters learners from diverse socioeconomic background. The district is an exceptional education environment where the parents' ability to participate in educational processes at home and school is in. Turil was selected as the research area as it typifies many Filipino communities who appreciate how parental support in education in a greater answer for student problems, but it is less useful in external conditions. So the researcher chose the location of this study as for the parents to give them the rich insight of the voice of the important of the context of the study. The main respondents are about the parents and the elementary and junior high school students in Turil, Davao City, Philippines. 7 participants are used and eligible and experienced about the phenomenon being studied. Parents were chosen due to the direct involvement of their children's academic activities. Okay, in inclusion criteria we developed here, and of course, the parent or guardian must be a resident of Turil, Davao City for at least 1 year. So that's the one of the criteria that I used to collect data. Researcher also collected data from the participants via semi-structured in-depth interviews, which were either conducted face-to-face or online. And the interviews were conducted for 30 to 45 minutes each, guided by the opinion-ended questions based on the objective of the research. Population and samples. Across the identified private schools in Turil, Davao City, there are total student population of 412 of Marhaba School of Davao, Turil Riverside Learning Center, Turil UCP Learning Center, and Davao Central College, while the total number of enrollees served as a general population frame with 7 parents respondents for the inclusion of the interviews. At least one parent from each of the 4 schools was selected, and remaining parents were selected in their availability, willingness, and participation involvement of the academic activities. Instrumentation, I used the semi-structured interview guide developed by the researcher. It is used as a qualitative study. The tool was developed to get parents to tell detailed stories how they deal with understanding of the involvement of children's schooling. We have also the data gathering procedure. To gather the data of the study, the research conducted semi-structured interviews among purposely selected 7 parents whose children study elementary and junior high school in 4 private schools in Davao City. We have also interviews were conducted in person based on the mutually agreed upon a time and place by the researchers and respondents, with at least 8 sessions lasted for 30 to 45 minutes average. And a flexible interview guide will be used to ensure participants were able to say on what is on their mind, allow the findings to be aligned as well. Each interview was audio recorded and transcribed word for word with consent of the participants, and the researcher maintained ethical standards through the data gathering process, including voluntary. And these are my references for your information. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your listening of my first international presentation for my research. Thank you.